I'm so extreme, and I don't wish it on people, mate. I really don't. People who live with me, my team, they see it, bro, and they're like, "What the fuck?" They're just like, "Wow, bro, you're intense, man." I know, mate, but I feel like I'm running out of time. I feel like I need to get shit done. I feel like I need to make it happen now, now, now. No waiting. There's no time to rest.
George the Savage Armstrong, welcome to the Development by David podcast. How are you, mate?
Savage. I love that. You know what, bro? I'm tired. I'm fatigued. I've been training hard. I've been working a lot. But you know what? Some things you just got to get done, and you got to push your feelings and emotions aside and get after it. So I'm here, more than happy being here, because I love sharing my message and I love connecting with special people like yourself. So I'm looking forward to it, bro. Let's get it.
Awesome, mate. I gave you a middle name there that you're kind of already known for, the Savage. It almost made you sound like a fucking WWE wrestler. I was waiting for the WWE kind of like walkout music to occur there, mate.
I tried, bro. I try. I want to be a character, mate. I want to be a character. I am a character, but no, it's funny you say that. I think I've kind of manifested into this person on social media. Whoever follows me knows that I'm pretty hardcore. I like to train hard. Otherwise, I don't like to train. I like to push myself further than most people. But I still look at myself and call myself some names to just check my ego and stay humble. But I use the pain and turn it into power. That's the catchphrase, brother.
I love
The
it.
demons gotta be cleansed somehow.
We're talking about burnout, and I've said on this podcast before, some of the symptoms that I experience when approaching burnout is when my inner monologue, my noisy roommate, as I call it, starts to be really fucking vicious. Like it's usually quite healthily vicious. Like you're not good enough, or like one more rep or one more task. Like it's almost productive. But when it gets like self-destructive, when I'm like totally lambasting myself from morning to night, that's when I know I'm close to burnout. Do you experience something similar? Because it sounds like you do use that as a tool at times,
Yeah,
but how does that change when you're approaching burnout?
I can relate, bro. For many years, I just used to push through, regardless of my feelings, regardless of my emotions. Like I was just saying before, like you've got to get shit done. Like if you want to succeed, if you want to build something, if you want to go above and beyond and win in certain aspects in fitness and business, you've got to do things that other people are not willing to do, and you've got to push past pain, discomfort. But sometimes it just gets to a point where I've just felt completely exhausted. It's not more so physically because my body's so strong. It's more so emotionally drained. That gets me. And I was listening to a podcast the other day, and he said most people, when they do feel tired, they do feel down, or maybe when they are ill, it's all to do with their emotions. And I completely understand that. So at the minute, I do feel pretty drained, pretty fatigued. And I was on a call before with the team, and I broke character. I let things get to me when they shouldn't have. But that's because I'm not mentally firing optimally, because I need a little bit of downtime. And the downtime could just be coming off my phone, coming off social media, and just disconnecting from the world, taking a couple of days off, doing beach walks, just reading, learning, just trying to come away from the business. Otherwise, I've felt like in the past, if I just push through and continue to push through, I end up having like just feeling massive, overloaded, full of anxiety, and you just get stressed out and you do break character more often than not. And then you end up offending people or hurting people, saying things that you shouldn't have said, and just not really being your true authentic self. So the idea is not to break character. When I feel like I am breaking character, I assess myself and think, okay, so what's actually happened there? Do I need to kind of pull back, have a little bit of time off, whether it is just a day or whether it is a week? Things have changed for me in the past. I don't think I had any time off for, I think, 6+ years until this year. I actually had time off, and that was because of a health scare. So things change, and I needed to change as a leader.
One thing that I want to unpick, mate, is the concept of breaking character, which makes me assume that you're in character, which I don't actually dislike. I think if you are a leader or you're someone that's creating something into existence that doesn't exist, you have to become a character. You have to think, if I'm going to create this project or lead this group of people, what components of a person must I be? And then you have to absorb that and become it. And it might not be innate to who you are, but you need to step into those boots to fulfill that task. So would you say you are playing a character or stepping into a character when you are doing what you're doing?
When I'm saying breaking character, I basically mean breaking my values. I mean, saying things that I wouldn't usually say that are out of character. So getting angry, getting frustrated, like you know about the Stoic philosophies. It's being able to control your emotions. And when I don't control my emotions and I let something get the better of me, that's what I mean by breaking character. And that's what
Mm.
I hate. Whether it's getting angry with your mum, whether it's getting angry with a girlfriend, a colleague, or with the bus driver, someone in the shop, you just have less patience and then you say something, you cause an argument. That for me is breaking character. And that's what happened today in the meeting.
What I like about what you said there is that you deliberately take time off when you feel that way. Because online, when we see people like Tate or other people, they say like, oh, like emotions aren't real, depression isn't real. Or if you look at Gary Vaynerchuk, who said like sleep 6 hours a night, work 25/8, and never take any time off. That's what a real savage looks like. I don't think that's true. I think a real savage knows when to take the foot off the gas. Um, and I think like we are intellectual animals, especially when we work in the realms that we work in. You have to train, you have to sprint, you have to rest, you have to reassess, then go again. It's like a constant loop. You can't just always be on the fucking red zone every single day because your clutch will go, your accelerator will go. You will forget how to use your brakes if you don't use them.
Oh, that's so true, bro. I actually just got the shivers then because it really does hit home a lot. Because I was that way. I was 100 mile an hour all the time. And a lot of the time I am. I'm very intense. When I'm working, I'm like, okay, let's solve this problem. Let's get to work. What do we need to get done? I'm a problem solver and I get to it. I don't wait and hesitate. I feel like people just waste time on pointless shit when we only have a little bit of time on this earth. So I'm someone who gets shit done, and that kind of mindset of going 100 mile an hour can only last for so long. Well, I think it can only last for so long. The way I was training, the way I was working, how much I was sleeping, and how little I was resting caused me to have some health issues with my heart. And I think that was probably the only way that could have stopped me and make me realize what I was actually doing to myself, because I classed myself as an athlete, very fit, athletic, strong willed, strong minded. It was a point in my life where I was like, wow, you know what? If I carry on continuing doing what I'm doing, I truly believe I would have died. I truly believe I would have died doing what I was doing. And I'm meant to be someone in the fitness industry. It's like, God damn, George, is this really worth it? What you're doing to yourself? Because you get into that mindset of being a savage, of attacking your goals, attacking it in the gym, in the ice bath, in the sauna, long hours at work, little rest. And then you realize, wow, your health is everything. And it was a big wake up call for me to start to realign myself with how am I actually going to last a lifetime at this game without experiencing issues with my health or burnout. And I don't even like saying that word burnout, but it's all relative to the individual. You've got to get shit done. You've got to sprint. You've got to pull back at certain aspects. You've got to take time off and rest. And it's all relative to someone's goals and lifestyle. But it's time to actually change as an individual. And for me, it's waking up, reflecting, grounding, reading, taking that time to just be at one with me instead of waking up and getting straight into work and just going through the day, copious amounts of caffeine, little sleep, little rest, not having any time off, and just getting shit done regardless of how you feel.
Can you apply the same savage mindset to resting? Like, I'm going to fucking rest harder than anyone else out there. I'm going to read more books. I'm going to listen to more podcasts. I'm going to absorb more sunlight. I'm going to take so much more time off than the next person. Could you actually like reframe your savage mentality into the modality of resting, almost like gamify it? Because I know you're a hyper competitive, like problem solving kind of guy. Could you use that type A energy into resting?
I think so, mate. I'm trying to. I am trying to. I never gave anyone any advice on taking time off or resting. Never. Because I've never done it. The gym, work, never done it. We're talking on a group call with all of my coaches and team, and we're talking about rest. And I don't say a word. I don't say a word, mate. I'm like, why would I preach on things that I don't know what I'm talking about? Why would I preach on something that I don't do? You're a fraud. You're a fake. I never talk about things that I don't actually do and don't practice. So now, months later, after a health scare, I'm like, yeah, you know what, guys? I'm taking some time off. I actually messaged my team before and I was like, yeah, I'm going to have a few days, just a little bit of downtime. If you need anything urgently, message me. But besides that, I'm out of working hours.
Not in a sadistic way, but are you almost glad you almost faced your mortality, that you were like nose to nose with this health scare? Do you think you needed it?
Well, yeah, I have actually faced mortality more times than once. Um, so I have actually experienced that where I've come close to death, which is not the best experience. But I think my personality and who I am as an individual, I am an extremist. You're not going to meet many people like me. You're not, and that's not an ego thing. You're just not. Like I wouldn't wish many people to live the lifestyle I do and behave the way I do because it's very intense and it's hard on your body and it's hard on your mind. It's very stressful. Um, so it's like I'm glad that happened. It's a blessing. It's a blessing that I had a health scare and I have come close to death because otherwise I wouldn't have changed. And you know what? The weird thing is, bro, and I'm being 100% honest, I knew it was going to be my heart. I knew.
Why?
I knew for years because what I was doing to myself. I was training excessively, over consuming on caffeine, sleeping very little, pushing my body to the max. I was taking drugs at the weekend, narcotics. Think about it. It's a road to a heart attack. It is. And I knew for years if I kept doing what I'm doing and living the lifestyle I was living, the only thing that could stop me would be something big. It's not going to be a broken arm. It's not going to be a broken leg. Get back up and go again. It'd have to be something serious. And your heart is everything, isn't it? So I'm not just saying that. That is pure 100% real truth. And people around me know about that. And I won't bullshit.
I want to reflect on like how you've almost excused other people for not being as hardcore as you. Like you're not fetishizing how tough you are around the edges, and I think it's because of some of the things that you've been through, some of the things that you've seen in your younger life. And I've just opened a quote that I want to share with you because I think you'd fucking love it, and it's from a book called Super Normal, about untold stories of childhood resilience, by a former guest, Dr. Meg G. Right, and she has this quote in the book, and it's: "The habits of a vigorous mind are formed in contending with great difficulties. When a young mind is raised and animated by scenes that engage the heart, then those qualities which would otherwise lay dormant wake into life and form the character of the superhero." I think it's a fucking
Wow.
cold ass quote, man.
That's giving me the goosebumps, mate.
And it's like, because you've seen what you've seen and been through what you've been through, that's why you're so hardcore and such a hero and such a leader. Like, if that never happened to you, those qualities would have just lay surface level. But because you've seen what you've seen, they've woken to life, and that's why you are the extremist that you are. And that's why it's not for fucking everyone.
It's not, mate. It's not. Like, it's really not. I'm lucky I'm here, mate. But I can 100% relate with that. I'm so extreme and I don't wish it on people, mate. I really don't. People who live with me and my team, they see it, bro. And they're like, what the fuck? They're just like, wow, bro, you're intense, man. And it's like, I know, mate, but I feel like I'm running out of time. I feel like I need to get shit done. I feel like I need to make it happen now, no waiting. There's no time to rest. That's how I feel every single day. I'm in an immediate rush to achieve goals.
I know we haven't touched into your story. I want to take a step back and go through the childhood of George. But do you think that is because you have seen the imminent loss around you? Like, you know that that could come the next day, the next day. So you're like living your day, your year almost day by day by day by day, or task by task by task, because you know this could end overnight, any
Yeah.
second. So you're just like maximizing every single task, every single action, every single day, every single week.
Yeah, mate. I think from a younger age, I had relatives die very young. They were ill, and then my mum nearly died twice. Where we pretty much got told by the doctors she was going to die. So that started the urge to just realize that we're not here forever. Like, we need to live our life and enjoy it and do whatever we want to do and explore and travel and laugh and cry. And then on top of that, when my younger brother died and committed suicide, that was just another flame, another wood on the fire. It just excelled my urge to live the most fulfilled life I could possibly live, and do whatever I want and not give a fuck about what people think, and take action and love and cry and laugh and just make shit happen, bro.
You're such a savage now. When you were going through all that stuff, would you categorize yourself as a savage then, or did they form the character of the savage?
No, I think one of the reasons why I am humble and I I am the way I am is because I can relate with a lot of people in terms of the depths of just dark times, especially see my brother. But the big thing that was holding me back, kind of working through things with my brother's death, was when he was younger and he was going through this for 10 years. I said to myself that I need to develop myself into a character, into a person of influence, into a leader, into someone who he would listen. So I would study the mind, how to communicate, how to basically motivate someone, inspire them, and get the best out of them. And I wanted to become someone of influence who my younger brother, would look up to. And whenever he was sad, I would be sad. Whenever he was happy, I would be happy. And because I was so young, I didn't know how to deal with it, that I thought it was my job to save him, to be the superhero. And I put all that weight on my shoulders. And just before he actually died, I thought he was getting better. And I told a really close friend of mine at my brother's wedding, I said, listen, I think he's getting better. After 10 years of depression, I see a different side to him. I can't believe it. And I was crying my eyes out. And I was like, wow, this is it, man. Like, we've done it. We've got through the worst, because for most of his life, it was all about him committing suicide. And it was just this horrible dark cloud just sitting over me always, bro. I used to come home, I used to open the door, I used to shout, because I used to live with him, and me, my mom, and him. I used to shout, Will, 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 Will. And he was always in bed. He spent 3 years in bed. I'd have to pull him out every day. And I'd just shout his name because I thought he was dead. And that carried on for years. And it got to me, and it really fucked me up mentally, bro. Where I got to a point where I couldn't be around him and my mom because it was just so draining that I pulled away from it. And that created my mind, and that built me into a stronger person. But it also was taxing on me mentally. And I didn't realize how taxing it was until I started to kind of abuse drugs and narcotics and kind of like numb myself with weed and other drugs, and I would basically numb myself, but also it was like self-conflicted pain. It was abuse because I didn't know how to deal with it. I would talk about it, but it was so strong and I felt so much pain. I would just numb myself with different drugs, bro. And it did get to a point where after he died, I thought I killed myself with just a cocktail of drugs. And this is the reason why I am the way I am, because it can get to the point, even if you are so strong-minded and people look at me and think, fuck, bro, you're a savage, but you can crack. Like that is and that was and will be probably the biggest thing that's ever going to happen to me. And that really has shaped me now to move forward and live a different life. But I'm just blessed to be here. I am blessed. I'm grateful to be here. And when that did happen and I was in that dark hole and I was numbing myself and I was still building the business and still doing all that shit and still super successful, earning great money, I had an amazing lifestyle, I could do whatever I wanted. It doesn't matter, man. If you're numbing yourself in a bad way, it can get to that point where you are at the point of no return, mate. And I did experience some sort of out-of-body experience. I thought I died, but then I came back to reality and I just thought to myself, wow, you can't do this, bro. Like your mom, your family, they can't ever experience another death in the family. It would break them. And looking back, mate, I've reflected quite a lot on it, and I've spoke to a lot of friends, family, therapists about it, people who were close to me, and I think that I had to get to that point. Otherwise, I wouldn't let it go. I had to disattach myself. I felt like I had a demon on me. And the guy who I was living with, my best mate, he was so worried about me, bro. He was so worried. He thought I was possessed, mate, because I was so angry, mate. I was in the gym and I would absolutely punish myself to the point where it was just abuse, mate. It was pain. And then I would go out and I would get on the sesh and I would just abuse drugs. So look at me. I'm successful. I've got a great online business. I've got an amazing lifestyle. And it can still get to that point where you can nearly kill yourself.
So many people who don't know this story. This is exactly why I did this, to like show the layers of the cake that kind of hold up the fucking icing that everyone sees. You know, like people will look at you online and be like, it must be nice. It must be nice to be George. It must be nice to be rich and leading so many people. It must be nice to be in Bali. It must be nice to be built. But they would never, ever last a single day in your shoes. They would never do what it took to build that. They would never have been through all those adversities to get that icing on the cake. They would never. But they just say, it must be nice. And I relate. Like, I've never had a podcast guest come on this podcast and actually share something so relatable. Over the 100 people that I've interviewed, when you speak about your brother's happiness, like solely being the driver of your own happiness, I relate to that a lot. Like, similar to my mum suffered greatly with mental health conditions, depression, anxiety. And I remember having to rush home every single day from work at 5 p.m. I could not wait to get in the door to make sure that I was having dinner with her, because I knew I was her safe haven. I knew I was her little bit of hope during the day. I couldn't go to the after work drinks. I couldn't go to the gym after work. I had to be home to see my mum. And things similar to you, I had this false hope of things were going to get better. I always thought things were going to get better. She got a job because I knew not having a job was her kind of sense of worthlessness. And she took a random heart attack. I guess it was probably because of the poor lifestyle she was living because of her mental health. And this is probably the most sadistic thing I'll ever say on the podcast. There was a sense of relief. Like, I would empty my bank account now to have my mum back, and every single earning I ever get in the future. But besides that, there was still a sense of relief. Like, I can live my own life now. I'm not just a servant to her. I can actually build a career that I want to build. I want to start a podcast. I want to do all these kind of fluffy things on the side. I want to try stand-up comedy. But I could never do those things because they weren't in service of making more money to make my mum comfortable and happy. So not only did she die, so did like a persona of me, man. And like, so no one, if you've not been through it, you can't relate, but there's a sense of relief. Like, fuck, maybe it's not relief, man. It's like, it was probably more depressive than anything else, because you're like, I have built this character, I have built this pathway in service of someone else. Like, what now? Life is up to me, and it's fucking hard, man. It's hard to like recalibrate of like who you want to become after they have passed, because like I said, you've lived in service for them for the last however many years. I'm not sure, did you struggle with that, man, once your brother passed away? Like how you navigate living your life for you opposed to someone else, making sense of the world.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you sharing that with me, man. I can relate, man. I felt that it was deep. I was I was just thinking back about what or how I could relate with what I went through with my brother, and I put all my happiness on his life, and that's all I knew, mate. I was young and I shouldn't have done that, but that's my personality, bro, and it's now shaped me to who I am, and I've got to learn from that, and I've got to share my experiences and share my wisdom that I've learned, and the ups and downs with the world, mate. I'm obligated to do it, man, because there's millions of other people like us who are going through that, who don't have the support, who have never actually spoken to anyone who have been through something similar. And I think as a brotherhood, we should come together and we should open up more about this sort of things. And that's why I always try and just go straight to the core, man. I don't give a fuck, mate. Nothing can tear me down. I've been to the bottom of the pit. I don't care. Like, no one calling me any names, saying anything bad about me doesn't hurt me. Nothing does, mate. Like, I think when you've hit rock bottom and you made it out alive, the only way is up, man. If anything else happens, any traumatic experience, I know I'll be all right. I know I'm not going to do what I did to get through it again, but we'll make it all right, man. And it will grow you and it will develop you as a person, and try and see how it can help you as an individual to better your life moving forward and others. And that's the only way, I think. It's not the only way, but me building what I'm building, and especially the foundation that we can touch on to do with William, it actually helps me live a more congruent life and helps me heal doing what I'm doing and the job I'm in. It helps me get through it, man, by giving back and sharing my experiences with it. So I'm obligated to do it, bro.
Mate, I just want to say I'm so fucking proud of you, man. That obligation, taking that obligation on, is so fucking admirable. I really think so many, especially men, are wrapped up in concealment. They're too scared to share some of these traumas that they've been through. But that's what makes them them. That's what gives them that superhero's cape. The world is so much richer when you present your true self to it, including all this baggage that you're propelling into the world, because you might find a girl that might relate to that, and you can create a nice relationship based on that, or you can find a mate or a brotherhood based on that. But if you don't show that version of yourself, you're doing yourself a disservice. Your own world's going to be clouded. But not only that, you're doing role modeling a disservice. How can a little George or a little David look up to us if we're not even being ourselves? We need to be that relatable role model for the future. And it's exactly why this podcast exists. And I'm so fucking delighted that you came on to share that message, mate. Let's do it.
I appreciate that, bro. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to just open up and be honest. Who actually cares, man? Do you know what I mean? People are so afraid to open up and be honest about the past. I literally look at my past and I think, fucking hell, like, it's taught me so much. I'm not going to hide from it. I'm going to share everything about myself. I don't care. I'll literally tell a random man on the street wild stories about myself, because I know it will actually help them out a lot. They'll look at me and the success I've got and who I am today, and they'll be like, wow, do you know what? If he can do it, I can do it. I'm just fucking a normal guy, just been through a little bit of shit and then turned into a fucking hardcore trainer, man. That's it, mate.
Oh. So, mate, if I were to ask you, right, if we were to take like a blank canvas of a guy, right, I were to say, I'm going to give him a bunch of components or a bunch of traits or experiences to make him a savage, what would you give him?
Well, we need to start in the gym, don't we? We need to be disciplined in the gym. We need to be training every day. We need to be doing hardcore workouts, not just weight training, but also cardio. You need to be training with a partner so you can compete against each other. That's why having a brother as a youngster, I had an older brother. So we used to fight. We used to train together. We used to compete. I was the bigger guy and he always used to try and beat me up. Like that competitive edge, I feel like as a man, you need it. So playing sports is great. I'm also disciplined with your diet. You need to be looking athletic. You need to be looking as athletic as possible. I'm not talking be absolutely jacked, but it does go a long way in society looking presentable and also strong, fit. I think that men should also be able to fight in some manner, look after themselves down a dark alley. You never know who's around. You never know when you need to kind of protect yourself and look after your family, whether it's your girlfriend, your kids. There are some evil people in the world. And I feel like you need to be able to protect yourself. You need to be able to show your vulnerabilities, especially to your close friends and family. You don't need to tell the world your vulnerabilities and what you've been through, but I think communicating and showing your emotions and opening up and being honest about how you feel is being a savage, mate. I think that is a pure essence of being a savage, just opening up and being honest. At the same time, when it's needed, you need to push past your emotions. You need to push past feelings. You need to get shit done. If you need to work longer hours, you need to get it done. And I hate people who are victims. I've been a victim for many years before, mate. I have done, and I can relate.
Same.
And that's why, sorry, go on.
I was just saying, so have I.
Yeah. I've been a victim, mate, for years. And I just used to look at myself and I used to hate myself because I wasn't actually taking action on my goals and pushing past discomfort and just making shit happen, mate. I think that as a man, you should go out in the world and travel. I think you should get a backpack, save up for a year or two and go and spend some time in Asia, in India, and it will completely change your perspective on what you've got in life and what truly matters. I do also believe in chasing like nice possessions as well and having big goals and big dreams and aiming for not mediocre or just living an average life. I think we are capable of a hell of a lot more than what we think, especially with the guys on the program. They just don't realize what they can achieve. And one of my biggest gifts in life is actually seeing someone for what they are and being able to say, listen, I can see who you can become. If you do this, if you follow these steps, if you train this way, if you act, if you learn, you develop, you build yourself up, you will become this person. And they end up doing it. And also just looking after your family, man. Like I was talking about this the other day. I think when you've had some sort of success, don't go out and buy a Lambo. Help your family out first, man. Help your family out first. Look after them. If they're in need, if your auntie, your uncle are struggling to pay the rent, food, help them out. Don't go and buy a fucking Lambo, you idiot. Go and help your family out first.
It fucking fries my brain when I do see people do that. Like they have like a 40k or 20k Rolex on their wrist, but their dad's still living in his rented accommodation, eating microwavable meals. You know, like that should be. I can't imagine a goal or a carrot on a stick that is more rewarding than putting food on your family's plate or buying your parents' house so they don't have to rent anymore. Not a Lambo. Like pain is such a better motivator than pleasure, in my opinion. I always, when I'm trying to get motivated for something, I always try and think, how could not doing this hurt me? Instead of running towards pleasure, like, oh, doing this will get me more women or more money or a faster car. Like, I think pain is such a good motivator, and people are too scared, or maybe it's too taboo because of this kind of burnout culture or mental health culture to use that as fire. But I think both you and I relate that pain is the greatest motivator of all.
Oh, yeah. Pain. Yeah. You've got to use it as fuel. You've got to use it and put it into something positive. Otherwise, it can be very detrimental, as we're fully aware. And I think another one as well, just talking about like what I would tell maybe my younger self. I think it's try and eliminate distractions. Fuck the partying. Fuck going out. try and be disciplined with just scrolling on Tinder all the time, with meaningless relationships, just having sex for the fun of it. Yeah, great. Now and again, cool. But like, if you're just wasting so much time chasing girls and going out with the lads to the pub, and just, you need to be disciplined. You need to stay consistent with it and eliminate the distractions. And pretty much what I've done is do the opposite. Yes, I have gone out a lot and partied, but at the end of the day, I only did it when I knew I was actually moving forward in the right direction. I could see momentum. I could have the momentum. I could feel the momentum, and I was making progress, whether it's with fitness or business. You're only going to get out of that place if you stop doing what you're doing right now and start working your fucking ass off every day so goddamn hard. I remember a couple of years ago, I was in my ex's dad's roof in his, what is it called now? His rooftop. Yeah, like a little bedroom, man. I couldn't even fucking stand up. Yeah, like loft. I was in my ex's dad's loft, mate. Like in there, hating life. I know, like, people are in way worse positions, but that for me, I couldn't get out of the house because I couldn't afford rent. I was in hell. I thought I was in hell. And I was like, wow, you know what? Like, this can't be your life, George. You need to sort it out. And also before that, I remember I used to just do stupid shit, mate. And this is why, like, I am the way I am again. It's because, like, I've done shit that I'm not proud of. Like, I'm not proud of what I've done in the past, but it doesn't define me. I'm a different person, and I've had to change. But the things I used to do, the habits, the person who I was, the way I used to think, act, behave, was not going to get me anywhere nearer towards my goals. And I was a victim. I was a little bitch. That's what I was, mate. I hated myself. And I used to ask my money for rent. My mum used to get a text off me once a month. Hey, mom, I can't afford my rent. She's like, why? You should have enough money. I was like, sorry, I need the money. Like, I've spent it on, I don't know, food. Really? I was spending it on Coke, mate, and blowing it up my nose. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I used to, like, looking back now, I was like, George, you were a loser, bro. You were asking your mum for money, and she was just being nice and loving you, as what a mum would do, help you out when you're in need. And you were just going behind her back, blowing it up on drugs, mate. And that's why I have this aura now, a mindset of, I don't judge people, man. I don't, well, I do, but I don't judge people as much as a lot of guys, because I've been there and I felt like that, and I've done shit that I'm not fucking proud of, bro. And I want to try at least to stay as far as I can away from that and be a good person in society and look after my team, my family, loved ones.
And I guess by doing that, so there's a book that I like called Solve for Happy by a guy called Mo Goddard, right? And he has this concept of the eraser test. And it's basically like, he interviewed, say, 100,000 people and asked them, think about your lowest point in life where you weren't proud of what you had, how you've been behaving, or just the environment around you. If you could go back with an eraser, would you rub that out? And it never happened, but also you never got any of the lessons from it. 95% of respondents said no. And I feel like you wouldn't either. Like, you're kind of glad that you had that period of time, because now where you're at, building what you're building, the successes that are following, the material life that you have in Bali, living by the beach, etc., that feels so much richer because you had that low point. You had the loft to rent, you had the money to loan. I bet you your rewards you're so much more grateful for because you've experienced that shitty time.
Yeah. I wish I had it harder, bro. Looking back now, I wish I had it harder. I made no money on the gym floor, personal training for 6 years, earning absolutely nothing, bro. Wanted to quit many times. Actually did quit and went traveling for 6 months and came back, and then had to just start again because I didn't know what to do. That was it. I tried different jobs and I hated them all. I've actually taken on now 4 people used to work at a place I did in a fucking warehouse, mate. 4 people. They all work for me now, earning triple than what they were earning. It was hell. It was literally one of the worst jobs I've had. I don't know, like, people working warehouses is great, but the reason why it was bad is the owner. He used to treat us like absolute shit and look down on us. And now they're working for me. The guy is in Bali, and I'm filming a YouTube video with him tomorrow. He's in Bali for 6 weeks. He's a personal trainer. He's getting amazing results. He's absolutely killing it. and he's living his best life. Hey, fuck you. Do you know what I mean?
Bro, do you know what I love about that? Remember I was talking to you about leadership via text? Like you could have brought in anybody from Bali, from Thailand, from your surrounding areas in to nurture, who have already got potential talent, everything else. But you've went back to someone that you used to work with and brought him on board. Like when we're talking about leadership, I wrote this thing yesterday about how I don't really believe in you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. If that is a proxy for you ditching your tribe and finding people that are already aspirational, who are already self-developed, who already have material success, I think a true form of a leader is looking back at your tribe, looking around you and uplifting their fucking aspirations, demanding excellence of them and showing them the capabilities or validating the capabilities that they already have, creating these kind of positive feedback loops in their brain to make them start thinking and propelling that skill forward into existence and putting that skill into markets where it's valuable so they can make money and treat their family. I think that is a leader, not running away from the tribe, not renouncing the tribe. A leader inspires from within themselves and within their tribe. A passenger looks onwards and jumps on the ride of other people's motivation and leadership. And I think that's exactly what you've done there, Emirates. That's so rich.
Appreciate that, bro. I really appreciate it. There's 3 other guys currently just literally landed in Dubai as well today. So I tell them, listen, guys, you are going out in the world and traveling. You're not staying in your hometown. You don't have to now. You have the opportunity. You can work online. You can work wherever you want. Do it. Move. Push yourself. Some of my head coaches, I literally forced them, bro. I said, listen, you have to travel now. You have to move. Do not stay where you are. I pushed them to do it because I pay them well. And like, at the end of the day, bro, like I've built up a trust and respect with them. If they fuck me over, they fuck me over, mate, at the end of the day. But I've built them into, little mini savages, mate. And they are great leaders now. And I want them to earn the most money they can possibly earn. I want them to have the best lifestyle they can live. I want them to be the most successful, fulfilled person that's possible for them. So I don't look down on them. I've dealt with a lot of leaders and I've been in businesses and I've seen it firsthand. They look down on their staff. My team is everything to me. Everything to me. They build the business for me, bro.
I love it, man. We're 42 minutes into this
Wow.
podcast and we haven't actually described what you do or who you are. And that's what I love about it, because we're just 2 guys jamming on like broader concepts and philosophies and our own stories. Usually I get people in and the first thing I ask them is, who is X today in 2023? And they'll say their job title and we'll talk about what that is. But we're 43 minutes in and we haven't covered any of that. And I love it. So just for context, to wrap around all that we've been talking about, what is it that you actually do on a day-to-day basis? What service do you deliver?
Oh, we deliver a high level service, personal training online to men worldwide. It's a combination between giving them nutrition plans, training programs, support, check ins, accountability, and also mental health support as well. So we combine, it's like a holistic approach, a wellness approach. We are serious and straight to the point, but we try and transform people's lives, not just in the gym, but also in home life as well.
How many transformations have you had, mate?
I think we've got, over 1,000 transformations. Yeah.
If I were to think of my local town where I come from, not Glasgow, where I'm just now, but my local town on the West Coast, it is only a few thousand people. Like, you have transformed essentially a third of my local town. And I love how that, like, the gym or fitness isn't the be all and end all. It's not the total transformation package, but that's where it starts from. And I think, at least talking personally with myself and people that I know, continuous improvement and personal development has always started in the gym. It's always started. It builds so many good habits: delayed gratification, continuous improvement, compound interest, and many others that I can't think. But I think for me, if I were to take a man who's lost, or a young boy that's lost, the first thing I would do is put them in the gym, because there's so many extracurricular habits that come from just working out 5 days a week.
Well, it's so true, mate. When my brother was the happiest and looked the best and felt the best, it's when he was eating well, he was in the gym, and he was just more active, mate. I noticed it. It was a trend. He would go through phases of being in the gym and feeling more confident, and his mental health just skyrocketed. You could see his skin, his complexion on his face, his body changed. He started to eat better. And as you know, depression is just ups and downs, ups and downs. And when there was a dip, he wouldn't be in the gym. When he was up, he was in the gym. So it shows a lot, doesn't it? Like, your mental health will be so much better when you're eating proper and you're active and training, like whatever it is, some sort of sport or athletics, or just even if it's just walking, mate, just being more active. Your mental health will definitely improve hell of a lot.
My coach that I train with is a guy called Lewis McFarlane. Shout out Lewis. He was like the second guest in this podcast. Now I've got guys like George on. Incredible guy. One of my closest friends and my coach.
Yes, bro.
He's your super fan, by the way, mate.
Mate, yes, lead.
When I was speaking to him a couple of months ago, I was like, mate, like, I love your content online, like the way you dress, the way you hold yourself online. You've got a really good kind of persona that's very innate to you. Like, where did that come from? He goes, oh, you need to check out George Armstrong. He is what a guy should be. What was it? Ripped, rich, and rare. That's what he said. I'll link you to his profile, mate. The guy's a savage as well. Amazing rig. He's had maybe 100, 200, 300 transformations as well with his clients. Wow. Really good guy. And he's my coach. He's like a local version of you, right? He's like a George in my pocket. And I've been training with him in person. I've just joined to the same gym as him. He's been traveling the world for the last 3 months. He's back. And we've been training together. He's been so he ran a marathon across the Swiss Alps and then flew to Australia and New Zealand. The guy's a savage, mate. Honestly, you'd get on well with him. You'd be mates with him. I'm surprised. I think you might have been in Bali recently. I wish I knew that sooner. I would have linked you guys together. But he's up for the gym opening. Like, he is waiting for the door to open at 6 a.m. every morning. And I've been training with him at the same time. And mate, he goes hard, he bangs hard. We do basically similar workouts to you. Whole bodybuilding session, and then conditioning afterwards, an hour and a half, no holds barred. And yesterday I slept in, and the rest of my day went to shit, mate. The way how I was talking to myself, my nutrition was off, I was abusing caffeine intake, my productivity was low, and that was just one day off. That was because I didn't do what I said I would do. And it shows you what you just said there, like how much of a micro effect it can have. And then today I was up and you had this podcast. I trained first thing this morning, and mate, full of life, full of productivity. So mate, yeah, I feel that myself.
I think, yeah, for me as well, bro, I completely agree with you, man. We try and get a lot of clients majority of clients to get something done in the morning in terms of just get that heart rate up, get a good sweat on, and get the body moving, because you just release so many good hormones and it sets yourself up for the day. You've got that task done and you've give you what you needed. You've moved the body, you've twisted, you've turned, you've done something tough in the morning. And I am a better person. I am a better George for the world when I train in the morning, mate. I got to tick that box, got to cleanse those demons, got to set myself up for the day. And then I'm charged up, I'm full of energy, and then I'm ready to go, man. So I completely get it. I don't do rest days, bro. I'm in the gym doing some sort of training, whether it's just light. I'm in the gym, mate. I need it. Fuck rest days, bro.
I was thinking this, man.
Even if it's just low intensity, I'm talking about go for a swim, go for a walk, go for a hike. Just move that body, man. It's difficult for me to just sit on the couch. I'm not going to sit on the couch watching movies all day and Netflix, twiddling my thumbs. It's not going to happen, mate.
People will look at us like we're like toxic, or we have this sense of unhealthy productivity. But I think there's very little tasks that you can do first thing in the morning where you can win. Like, I think it's such a good winning mechanism, and it gives you confidence for the rest of your day. I look at it like almost cold water therapy, right? It's like a kind of metaphorical cold water therapy. You do something so difficult and first thing in the morning and you overcome it, and therefore you get the dopamine hit, you get the reward mechanisms, the push, the momentum into the day. There's very little other things that you can do first thing in the morning, like checking your emails in the morning or going and posting something on social media. That ain't going to fulfill that same effect, in my opinion.
Definitely not, mate. Yeah, win the morning. You should be able to win the day. yeah, attack it, wake up and dominate and just get after it, do something tough. I think as well, I think just a bit of advice for people out there who are kind of training in the morning, do something as well that gets your heart rate up. That's you get a good sweat on. You'll feel a hell of a lot different when you sweat, and do a little bit of cardio. Like if you go into the gym and just do like an arm session, you're not going to get the same feeling as when you hit the burpees, hit the wall balls, jumping jacks, burpees, sprinting on the bike erg, whatever it is. Just get that heart rate up because you get a different level of high. You really do. And I when I started to do more cardio based stuff, get back into more athletics, I noticed a big like increase in surge in dopamine after I trained. If I was just going in the gym and just hitting weights, I wouldn't really get that as much.
Do you think people are lazy? That's why they don't do it, or do you think they're just uninspired? For me, I think very few people are lazy. I don't think there's such a thing as a lazy person. They're just a very uninspired person. And I think because they haven't heard the effects of doing some of these tasks first thing in the morning, they're not aware of how inspired they could be. I wrote yesterday, I am happy when I train in the morning. I feel awful when I don't train in the morning. So all I need to do is look at that note and be like, oh, I need to get up because I'll feel like shit if I don't. And that is enough of a inspiration for me to get my ass to the gym.
Yeah, man. You know what, mate? Like, there's some days where I just don't want to get up. Like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, I struggle. I struggle with my mental health as well. Like I was telling you about my brother. That's just over a year ago. Do you know what I mean? I'm working through a hell of a lot of shit, and there's some really dark days. I've got a lot of regrets. I have, especially to do with my brother and how things could have been a different. There's a lot of days where I just don't want to do anything. But I know that if I don't get up and I don't hit the gym, I'm gonna be pissed off, man. I'm gonna be angry. I'm not gonna be my true, real, authentic self, man. I'm gonna break character, mate. And being able to manage those emotions and keep those demons at bay, I need to hit a workout, man. I need to get that heart rate up. I need to sweat. I need to cleanse that mind. But also, like, just talking about like getting up in the morning. I've got a team now, and they're counting on me. I cannot just take weeks and weeks and weeks off. Like I can't. I can take days off. I can have downtime, but they fucking need me. And I told you, I'm obligated to do this shit. I'm obligated to get up. And your kids need you to be a man. Your kids need you to be in shape. Your kids don't want to look at their dad who's got big man boobs and who isn't motivated, who isn't working hard, who isn't doing everything he can do to take action and make money and provide. Like, that's fucking motivating. People just lose sight and they don't have that clarity on knowing why they need to do what they do. But also, a massive one, bro, is that people have never felt what it feels like to be optimal, firing on a different level, when they're eating, when they're training, when they're fit, jacked, eating good, wholesome, nutritious food, resting. They don't have dips in the day of energy. They don't have those crashes. They can go on and go on and go on. They can miss a full day of sleep and they're fine. It won't affect them. And that's the difference, bro. These people who are really out of shape, eating shit, binge eating, junk food, abusing alcohol, they just don't know what it's like on the other side. But this is why, as a coach and brand, you get someone in shape. Then they start to drink. Then they start to go off track. They start to binge eat again. They will fucking notice, bro. They will be like, wow, I cannot go back to that. And you will fluctuate up and down. You may gain some pounds and you may lose sight. But hopefully after you've actually experienced what it feels like to fire like an athlete and how you should be, you won't want to go back, bro. But people have never even felt it or experienced it, so they won't know. So they're like, why the fuck would I do that? It's not worth it. It's like, well, you don't know what it's like on the other side, brother. Come over here, man. Let me show you the way.
Come to the dark side.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Bro, I'd love that. Would be such a great like pill just to give everyone that experience in a pill. Everyone who's about to start their journey, so they know what to compare it to. Because even your clarity of thought, the way you think about yourself and the way that you think about the world is so much different. And your happiness, your worldview, everything is in perspective to how you think. The mind is so powerful. It is genuinely the binoculars in which you see life through. And if you feel better about yourself because you're fit, but also you have the ability to think clearer because of your nutrition, yeah, you feel like a superhero. And I've been there, man. I'm getting back to there, because I've kind of fallen off the wagon, and I know exactly how I feel when I'm operating 100%, and I'm on a reckless, relentless pursuit to get back to that. Because I know that, yeah, David just feels amazing and produces the best work and serves the best people in the best way when he's like that. Um, I really hope that all the listeners think, shit, if I've never been in that shape before, that mental and physical shape, I'm going to go ahead and give it a bash.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that with me. And you know what? Like, just to tell the guys out there that, like, I've struggled myself. I used to compete as a bodybuilder when I was younger. And after the competitions, I used to binge eat and blow up. I'm talking about gaining 3 stone in like 3 weeks. Just abuse food, and I'd mess my body up. It was fucked, bro. Like when I used to eat carbs, I'd be sweating all the time. My feet would be swelled up. So I've been there myself, but after that, it was a battle, bro. And I felt like a fraud, mate. How was I going to get people in shape when I couldn't even manage my own emotions and stop binge eating? And now, like, I'm a pig, bro. I'm a pig. I can eat a hell of a lot of food. I train goddamn hard, and I can put away some calories pretty damn quick. And at the end of the day, like, I still struggle as well. But year by year by year, you get better. You develop the skills, you develop the tools, the knowledge, the wisdom, the habits, the structure with your day that will help you stop binge eating excessively and extreme over and over again. You might slowly just learn something, a little bit of a tip. Oh, okay, maybe next time before you go out, you actually eat something light and just fill yourself up a little bit. Oh, are you actually dehydrated? Are you actually hungry? Let's analyze it. Let's think back. Oh, that was a trigger food for me. Maybe that's not the best idea to keep it in the house. So there's so much to learn about over time, but people, after one like downfall or slip up, they think that's it. They throw in the towel. Oh, fucking hell. That's it. I give up now. I'm not perfect. It's like, bro, this takes years. Do you understand? This is a lifelong journey. Up and down, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight. But over time, the drop or the gain is not dramatic. The damage control is not ridiculous. It's just a little bit smaller next time, a little bit smaller to when you get to a point where the damage control is only a little bit.
And do you know what I think causes that, mate? Is that, and you're an exception to this rule. Online fitness influencers only show the days where they're winning, where they're
Oh
eating, where they're fasting in the morning, training cardio first thing, and they're eating veggies, rice, and chicken for the rest of the day. They only show that version of themselves. But if I look at you, you
yeah.
actually show the ups and downs. You even like display that you're taking time off to reset your dopamine, etc., and to rest and to recover. Not many people do that. So I think when people, the average Joe like me, sees that online and thinks, well, I'm not meeting that spec, then I'm not that person, therefore I should just throw in the towel. But in fact, all greats, if you look at sports athletes, how many games of football has Ronaldo lost? Hundreds. How many fights has Conor McGregor even lost? A few. Like, all the greats have lost, but as long as your wins outweigh your losses, you will go down in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, man, you just got to get back up and stop like just being an idiot, mate. Fucking hell, like it's not going to be perfect. People jump on the program time after time again, but it's like for me, it was so hard to manage my emotions and not go out and get just shit faced or not go out and just just bingy. It was so managed to deal with life without being so extreme on either abusing drugs, alcohol, or food. I just felt like a fraud for so many years. But then I learned, you know what? This is so hard for me to do. And I don't know why, but it's meant to be, because now I actually appreciate how hard it was, because I've been there and I've done it and I respect it and I've earned it. But it's still hard. It's still hard every day. Like, I eat salad, bro, because it fills me up, because it's the biggest, giantest salad you can possibly buy. The reason why I eat it is because my appetite is so big. I need to feel full, bro. Nothing fills me up, mate. I'm a pig. I'll just keep eating and eating and eating. And I can gain 3 to 4 kilos a weekend without a problem. Easily, mate. Like, my genetics are like big boy genes. I can gain weight quick, and it seems like, oh, George has had it easy. He's got great genetics. It's like, shut up, bro. You don't have a fucking clue, mate. You don't have a clue. Clueless, bro. How do you know? How do you know? You don't know what's going on up here. But they just presume, don't they? Clueless, mate.
Yeah, like none of these guys are genetic doctors. They don't know what genes you've got. You don't even know what genes you've got.
Exactly. I know that I can gain weight pretty quick.
So, George, what's next for you? You're building a foundation. Tell me more about that, mate.
Yeah, so this has been on the horizon since I started Physique Academy 6 years ago. And basically what it is, mate, is providing free mental health therapy sessions with professionals one-to-one on Zoom, where anyone and everyone can basically have support off a professional, jump on a call and discuss and open up and just let's talk about what's going on in life. One interaction, one moment, one phone call can change the trajectory of your life. And I really believe in that. So we've been doing it for a while now on the program. This is a side part. This other part of the foundation is going to be towards the general public. For a long time, it's already been happening within my business, where we provide therapy sessions with my coaches, my team, and clients all around the world. That's included in the package, and I always wanted that. But on another part of the business, which is going to be more so the foundation, where we're going to raise money for it, and also my new clothing brand, which I'm going to release. I'm going to be putting a certain percentage of each transaction towards the foundation. So pretty much, bro, free support with your mental health for anyone and everyone who can book in for a call. You're going to have maximum 5 sessions. Of course, if you don't turn up, you're going to lose your spot. You've got to respect it, because this is something that is hopefully, well, not hopefully, this is going to change the world, man. It really is, mate.
What a way to put that pain that you had into power, mate. Giving people the support that you needed, that your brother perhaps needed, democratizing it, making it accessible to everyone, mate. That's super, super, super admirable, man. I'm so glad that you're doing that, and I hope people listen to this podcast and take you up on not only Physique Academy, but these services too. The Armstrong Foundation. That's amazing, mate. I'm really, really proud to hear that.
I appreciate that, mate. And you know what? One of the reasons why is because I was there in time with my little brother, experiencing different therapists, different counselors, different specialists in different fields who were testing Will for all different types of mental illness, which were trying to put him in a fucking box, mate. They tried to put him in a box, and they did put him in a box. He was full of drugs, bro, full of different drugs to help him get through life. And things could have been a hell of a lot different, mate. Maybe if he had someone who he believed in, or he felt that really understood him potentially, things could have been different. But he did seek help, but he didn't gain a lot from it, mate, which is a shame. And I know that there's millions of people out there like him who need support, because like, it's expensive, man. It's expensive to see a therapist. Back in the day when he was younger, I paid out of my own money, which you should do regardless, to see someone who wasn't like in the NHS. I just took him to a friend of a friend's mum, who was like a therapist and a counselor, to seek help. And I actually had help from her as well. dealing with all that shit. It brought up a lot of stuff. But it's just something which is pure. It's real. It's true. It's authentic, and the world needs it, mate. And the business is successful, and it will continue to be successful because of the service we provide. And also, like something like this, mate, it's what, a certain percentage of each transaction. It's fucking nothing, man. It's nothing to help save lives, bro. So it's going to be absolutely epic, and it's going to change the world, man. It really is.
Bro, you've definitely earned that middle name I gave you, George the Savage Armstrong. I've loved every minute of this podcast, mate. Thank you
Thanks,
so
bro.
fucking much for coming on and sharing what it truly means to be a savage. Not this fake, phony stuff that we see online, a real savage. You've put your heart on your sleeve, and I really hope it inspires and uplifts people just like us who are 5 or 6 rungs or years below us to take action, mate. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Legend, bro. Thanks, man.